Hello. Hello to all. We will start in 2 or 3 minutes. We will wait everybody to connect. And if it's not big problem, you can write from where are you from. Hello, Iveta. Ermina, ciao. Alexandra, ciao. Hello for Poland. Bulgaria, neighbors, hello. Mexico, Spain, United States, Brazil, Sweden, Italy, Switzerland. Wow, wow, wow. I think in 1 minute we'll be ready to start. Germany. Germany is the first country where I start my international career. Thank you to Zlata Kicin, our master. Croatia, our neighbors. Hello, Ana Maria. What do you think? We can start. Okay. First of all, I would like to say thank you because you take your time today. And I'm so happy that a lot of you are ready to get knowledge about machines and cartridges. And also, I would like to say that this is my first webinar ever. I never do this before. If something's going wrong, please don't have understanding, actually, because this is my first experience with this kind of communication with our artists and our masters, royal artists, and the rest of the people who are PMU lovers. Okay, we can start with presentation. And also, I would like to say sorry because my English, I'm working on my English, but still is not perfect. I will try to speak very slow. I will not use any strange words, and I would like to give you this knowledge in a very basic way that all of you can understand very easy all terms and characteristics. Okay. Idemo sljedeće. First, I would like to say a few words about 2023 and PMU. Few days in Instagram story, I mentioned that 2023 was actually was the most difficult year for PMU industry and PMU artists. Why? Actually, we all was in very big fear during Corona, but we saw that Corona time and after Corona time was very good for PMU business and microblading business. And actually, in the end of 2022 and 2023 whole year, we saw that the one of the biggest economic crises leave the trace and show us that PMU also have a problem with this crisis. 2023 was the year where we had very difficult time to find the clients. And because I understand how much struggle you to find clients and to create your job, to keep your job, we make one strategy for 2024. And actually, this webinar is our first step in this strategy. This is just one of the webinar which we will make in the next year. This is the first webinar. The topic is machines and cartridges. Second webinar will be color theory. We'll speak about color production, color ingredients, and actually about everything about the colors, because it's very important for you to have deep understanding for pigments and or colors. Third webinar will be all about PMU techniques. All techniques, we will explain how to use different needles, how to use different settings for machine. And last webinar will be about the skin. Before we start, I would like to say it to you, this is very important to stay until the end, because we prepare some really good surprise for all of you who are here in this webinar. But this surprise will come on the end. Let's say something small and short about PMU history. In the last 30 years, PMU tried to make very clear border between tattoo industry. And I understand why, and probably a lot of you understand why. To be honest, tattoo is mother and father of PMU. But because very bad reputation of tattoo in the last 50 years, PMU always trying to do something different and trying to be totally different from tattoo. Sometimes they have sense, these have sense, but sometimes totally have no sense. Okay, we didn't accept name tattoo. We took more permanent than tattoo, and we also took word makeup and we create permanent makeup. And we go more forward. We create PMU technique, PMU pigments, PMU machines, PMU aftercare, PMU needles. We always try to add PMU, but the fact is that in PMU there is no even one technique which didn't exist previously in tattoo industry. All technique which we use today in PMU, including hair strokes, shading, different lining or shading, all those techniques we took from tattoo. With pigments, there is a small difference, but when we speak about the pigment in our next webinar, I'll explain what is the main difference between tattoo and PMU. But this is not huge difference. The biggest problem comes with machine, and I will explain today why we have a lot of misinformation when we speak about PMU machine. Aftercare and needles today we also have from tattoo. And because today tattoo have no anymore this bad reputation, we don't need to make this border again bigger and bigger. We need to be open to ourselves and say what is the true and what is the fact. PMU and tattoo do absolutely same, have same problem, and there is no huge difference. The biggest difference which I can see is actually in lifestyle between tattoo artists and permanent makeup artists. What is the biggest misconception which I think that comes with creating this border between tattoo and permanent makeup? Somebody many years ago made conclusion or says that PMU is a treatment where we apply the pigment in very thin skin layer like eyelids, lips, or eyebrows. Lips and eyebrows really have thin skin, but eyebrows is area where we can find one of the thickest skin in our body. And actually, our problem is not thickness of the skin. Our biggest enemy in PMU and also in tattoo, maybe I can agree that we have bigger problem than tattoo artists with the skin elasticity. Skin elasticity is the problem, and actually explain why we have a lot of problem to apply the pigment in the lips. If it's true that lips have very thin skin and that we don't need tattoo machine, why is so difficult to apply the pigment in the lips? Actually, in eyebrows is more difficult because the skin is more thicker and with more elasticity. Point is today to accept that PMU is not the treatment where we need weak, small, and not powerful machines. In the past, we have a PMU machines which are designed like very small pens, and from PMU and tattoo vocabulary, small machines we call pen, big machine we call gun. And there is a reason, especially today when we got the batteries, why we have smaller, thinner, and more ergonomy, machines with more ergonomy than today, comparing with tattoo, where almost all tattoo machine is very heavy and with very big diameter. Let's start from the first and probably the most important part of PMU or tattoo machine. This is the electromotor. When we speak about the power of the motor, we speak about the force, rotational force, which comes from the motor. And how much actually when we want to explain the power of the motor, we speak about torque. And I will give you now one photo, and I will ask you to vote. But please listen my question. If we want to unscrew this screw, from which position will be much easier to do it? From A, B, or C? What do you think? I will give you a few seconds for the voting. Mostly of you, almost 70% say that is the correct answer C, and this is really correct answer. It's same like you want to open the door. You go in the farthest position from the wall, and this is how you open the door. Actually, if you are very close to this screw, will be much more difficult to do it than if you are very far from the screw. And this is the same thing with the motor. The biggest motor is, the torque is bigger. Today, we use mostly two different motors. I will not go very deep into explain all part of motor, but let's see some characteristic of those two mostly used motors. We have coreless and brushless motor. Coreless have smaller size and high torque with high speed. But the negative thing is that this motor have shorter lifespan. With a brushless motor, we have high torque with low speed. This is very interesting, remember it. Long lifespan, but we have big size. And this is one of the reasons why bigger machine have more power, because simply they have more powerful motor inside. Sorry, I make mistake. I go in the next. Today, I want to explain especially this for brushless motor with this high torque with low speed. This is very important because today we actually whole industry are very crazy about hair stroke technique, which is actually done with very slow speed, and it today is very difficult to find low speed machine with high torque, with high power. This is what we create today with our new machines, but I will speak about our machines a little bit later. Now we can go on next. Okay. After motor and after torque, after power of the motor, the most important thing which we have in our machine is needle stroke length. Needle stroke length actually explain how far is the point which move your needle from the middle of a motor. And if you have like a number photo number 3, if you have a needle which is moved very close to the center, you will have very short needle stroke length. How far is this position and how bigger is stroke length? You have faster pulse, but we speak only about one pulse in the skin. The very big misconception is also about the stroke length. Somebody explained 10 years ago maybe that big stroke length create more damage in the skin. From this moment, all PMU industries start to believe that there is also very clean border in between PMU and tattoo machines because the needle stroke length. A lot of people today believe that stroke length from 1.8 to 3 is for PMU, and 3 and up is for tattoo, which is extremely nonsense, absolutely. I don't want to use bad words, but really no sense. Because if you have faster pulse in the skin, there is a bigger chance to leave the pigment in the skin. And that means that you need less number of pulse to create and finish your technique. Today, I will not say that 1.8 machine is not good machine, but comparing with machine who have 3 millimeters needle stroke length or 4 or 3.5, I can say that everything less than 2.5 is toy, nothing more. Today, a lot of people mix needle exposure with needle stroke length. I hope that you understand now that there is a huge difference. Actually, needle exposure shows only distance from end of the cartridge and how needle go out from the cartridge. Otherwise, needle stroke length show the biggest position of the needle when needle is in the cartridge and when needle go out the lower position out of the cartridge. Needle exposure is very important when we speak about the application of the pigment in the skin, and very important when we speak about preciseness and a lot of things. But comparing with needle stroke length is not so important. Next thing is drive. What drive your needle? Drive can be direct. That means that motor direct drive your needle. And these machines are extremely popular because artists really can have all, control under the machine. Also, we have let's say, we can call it digital drive. What means digital drive? Digital drive is when your machine have different mode for working. That means that your motor answer from pulse which you make on the skin, and also can adapt the power during your work, or how you choose to change the power of machine. And last, and actually only one real suspension is mechanical suspension. Mechanical suspension is possibility of machine that allow your needle to go up and down, but during the work. This is very interesting and very rare in the market. Now, I will try to explain you how suspension work. First example will show you the direct drive, and you will see needle how go through plastic 2 millimeters thick and go through this plastic. Okay, možemo da pustimo video. You can see now the needle go through 2 millimeter thicker plastic very easy. But look at now what happened with machine if your machine have suspension. Needle work constantly, but doesn't go through the plastic. Actually, this suspension allow your machine to go up and down in the cartridge during the work. This feature is create to make some shock resistance of your needle, but also is very good when you create nice and fast movement in a treatment like powder brows or shading, because with this movement, when your needle can go up and down, you create absolutely same size of pixel every single time. Okay, let's move forward. Now, there is also, stop video. Give me back, sorry. Okay, before I start this video, I would like to explain you difference between voltage and hertz. What voltage mean? Usually when I see many times in Instagram and in forums, when somebody want to explain the speed of machine, people speak like, I work with 3.5 speed, or I work with 4 speed, or with 7 speed. This is not speed, this is voltage. And voltage show actually the power of your motor and which move this needle at this moment. Hertz is actually the speed of your needle. Hertz mean how many pulls your needle make in 1 second. And now, because a lot of machines don't show how many hertz they make in different voltage, there is one trick, and you can use this trick, and if you download this app, Strobe Light, you can see how many pulses your needle make per second. When you open this app, you will see that your light starts to work like this. Make a different pulse. And in this video, I will show you now how you can choose this light and check how many hertz and actually what is correct speed of your needle during the work in different level or different voltage. Okay, video can start. Please check now this light which you can see in the tip of the needle. Just a second. We all again have some problem. Okay, we can start this video. We have a problem, but this video started a few moments ago. Okay, we have it. Check please on the left side this light which you can see in the needle. But video stop again. Okay, when you move in your app speed, in one moment, like now, you will see that light stop and don't move on your needle. At this moment, you can see exact speed of your machine. This is the best way to check how fast your machine works in different levels, okay, or different voltage. There is also next feature when we speak about the hertz. I will tell you what is very difficult to make today. When you work with low voltage, your machine works very slow. How you make more voltage, machines start to work with more speed. Less voltage means less power. More voltage means more speed and more power. It's extremely difficult today to create machine who will work. On example, today we have some standard that machines start to work from 30 or 35 hertz. But to create machine who work with 6, 7, or 8 hertz or PPS, pulse per second, is extremely difficult with strong power. But today on the market, there is also some machine who can create extremely small number of pulse with extremely high power. But don't expect from this machine to be without vibration. This is a very strong machine, and you need to have really good education and good knowledge and good experience to use this kind of machine. On this video, you will see comparison between, from the left side, you have slow hertz mode machine. From the right side, you have normal machine. And you will see that it's not necessary to create any movement if you want to create pixel or let's say today, which is very popular, hair stroke method. You need same time. And what is interesting, with a very smaller number of pixel of pulse, you create the same color or same intensity in the stroke. But if you work with 10 pulse per second, and if you work with 30 pulse per second, of course, with 10 pulse, you will create less damage in the skin. And also, I want to explain something which is a very popular topic today. You will hear many times there is a technique which creates less trauma in the skin, less damage in the skin. People, please understand, tattoo or permanent makeup is a technique where we create damage in the skin. And this is how we apply the pigment in the skin. But this trauma and this damage really can be minimalized if you have enough knowledge. I already explained this misunderstanding and this difficult time to understand the high needle stroke length and small short needle stroke length. I saw many times that a lot of people believe like that we are religion. People believe that short needle stroke length create less damage, which is not true. And if you work faster, that you will create actually less damage. How slow you work with a big power. This is the key how you will create the best result, the faster treatment, and the best retention ever. Okay, go. This is machine which we prepare for the next year. This machine will have very extremely slow hertz mode, and this machine will have suspension. But this machine will not be free for the sale. This machine will be only available with a course. Totally new course which will explain how to use this machine. Because without a course, this machine will be very difficult for you to use. This machine is totally different for everything what you see in the market. This machine is not quiet. It's very loud, may create very loud sound because the suspension mechanism inside. And this machine also have very high vibration. But today I will explain 3 new machines. Okay, we will have 3 different machines. And now I will try to explain what is the difference. We didn't create all guns. We have one pen because beside everything what I say about small motor, about small dimension of machine, beginners who have no any previous experience, they really don't need so powerful motor. Maybe in the beginning they don't need to have battery in the machine because this machine will be much heavier. And for the start, this machine allows us to create the very good price for beginners because from our experience, 60% people who enter the PMU industry, they are not sure that they will stay in this industry. They just want to try. Small machine with small weight, with very good price is always best option for people who just enter to PMU industry. If you have no really any experience, this is my recommendation for you. Next machine is Royal Artist machine. Sorry, I forgot to mention the previous machine, Artist machine, have 3 millimeters stroke length. This machine, Royal Artist machine, have 3.5. Needle exposure 4, it's a little bit heavier because have more powerful motor and also have 2 possibilities for power. You can use power supply, like you can see in small photo down, without battery, or you can use with a battery. Of course, with the battery, you will have a more heavy machine in your hands. But if you are not sure that you can switch on thick machine very easy, this machine is extremely good choice for you. Why? Because if in one moment it's too heavy for you to carry battery on your machine, you always can switch on the power supply and have a very light machine. This actually machine is just a little bit more heavier than previous one if you don't use battery. But diameter of this machine is a little bit bigger. And of course, in this machine, because we have a brushless motor, difference is also in warranty. First machine have 1 year warranty. This machine have 2 years warranty. battery in this machine is not extremely powerful because we in this moment still want to adapt on the heavy machine, and we don't want to make to put in this machine very heavy battery, but this battery is more than enough to work 4 or 5 hours, which is more than enough to create one treatment. And with this machine you have one extra battery. That means during the work one battery can be on the charge, and you can use second battery to work. And the last machine, and the machine on which I am the most proud, is really machine for people who have experience, who have no any problem to carry in a hand machine with 200 grams. And this machine also have dual working mode. There is a mode flexible for creating amazing shades, and there is an efficient mode for creating lines. But today, if we speak about the technique of creation lines, this technique is mostly used for aligner and also for lips, for contouring, to create outline. Battery of this machine is extremely powerful. You can see 1,900 milliamperes, which is more than enough to use all day. Doesn't matter how many treatments you have. But this machine and previous one machine also have this feature that work on a very small speed. Like you can see, speed starts from 25 hertz, which is extremely slow, and with very high torque, with very high rotational force, which is the key of the easy broken, dead skin, and leave pigment in the surface of the skin. Okay, and now I want to speak a little bit about the needle position. Actually, about the needle in the total. Maybe for you who already have experience, you know that there is a different needle position. Sometimes needle, like on the left side, is from the side of the center, but sometimes needle comes from the center of cartridge. Difference which make this position is in elasticity. Elasticity is very, very important when we speak about the technique of creation shadow with a small speed and with very thin needle diameter. And I also forget to tell you that later you will get all this information and much, much more. You don't need to make screenshot or make photos because I'm sure that you will be much more surprised after this webinar, because there is some details which I don't cover today live, but you will be able to read and watch everything later in this document, which I will send to you about the machines. Okay, first thing when we speak about the cartridge is diameter. There is a lot of different diameters, and through last 10 years, actually today we saw that everything is possible to make with every single diameter. But with a thinner diameter of needle, you have more elasticity, and also you are able to create more detail or more detail work, or more smaller, very small, extremely small actually pixels in shading. Taper is the next thing which is very important. Taper show us how sharp is your needle. We have medium taper, short taper, long taper. when we speak today about the popularity of the taper, I can say that the most using cartridge in the market is 0.30 or 0.35 with long taper. This is something what artists like the most. But the best way to see difference between all tapers and all needle configuration and all diameter is to make tests and use and practice with every single different cartridge. Here, watch this carefully. There is explanation about the result with different diameter and different taper. Those shading is not made by hand. We count number of the pixel and we put same number of pixel from beginning to the end, but with different taper and different diameter. And you can see now, this is very important. When we speak about the minimalization of damage in the skin, there is one very, very bad idea that very thin needle with a long taper create less damage in the skin. But look at now, with the same pulse in the skin from 0.18 to the end, 0.40, how much pigment we have in the skin, which means with 0.40 or 0.30, you are able to create much faster application in the skin with a less pulse in the skin. And of course, if you make less pulse in the skin, you create less damage. That means that thinner needle doesn't mean that this needle is created for very sensitive skin to create less trauma. It's totally wrong. Needle elasticity. There can be a different position of elasticity. Very thin needles like 0.18 or 0.20, they need to have support in the needle because they're so thin that their elasticity is much more than we need. And elasticity also depends from the needle exposure. If you work with machine, let's say, who have 0.8 needle stroke length, that means that you can go out maybe just 1 millimeter. Even if you use 0.18 diameter needle, you will not be able to create any elasticity because your needle don't go enough out to create this elasticity out on the skin. Also, what is very important to mention, this is a single needle length. All thin or small diameter needles need to have support. That means that they don't a single from beginning to the end. They have support from another needle. And the tip of this needle, how long is tip of the needle, which is where is the needle alone, actually also shows how big is elasticity of this needle. Total needle length actually represent the total length on the needle from its tip to the end of the connector. Connector is the last part of the cartridge which goes in machine, and this is the part which move our needle. Today we always say that we work with universal cartridges. But look at this information. I took 5 different needles from the market, and there is no even 2 which have same total length. They go from 5.9, you can see 5.58 millimeters or almost 60 millimeters. That means that there is no universal adaptation of your machine. If you use different cartridge, you need to use different stroke exposure and to always adapt the stroke exposure with the needle which you use. And when we speak about the silicone barrier, we always explain like something which protect our machine from flow, actually from the pigment which we have in a cartridge, and mostly we also have blood, to come in the machine. But this silicone barrier have another role, which is much, much more important. This silicone barrier actually is something which moves back your needle. And is also very important to understand that from this barrier, it depends how your machine works, with how big force. I will show you now that almost every single needle on the market have different thickness and different characteristic of this silicone barrier. Check this video, please. This is something what put needle back. And if you ask yourself why nobody make this silicone barrier very thin to make possible to create very easy work for your machine, it's because this barrier also need to have force to take this needle back. Otherwise, we will have fluctuation of the needle, and needle will have no time to go back if this barrier is not strong enough. Check please now how difference how different pressure you need to use to take needle out. There is almost in the check first was 222 grams and second was 160 grams. With these two cartridges, your machine will work absolutely and totally different. There is a reason why there is some cartridge which you like on the market and some which you don't like. This is a cartridge which you can find in our shop. First two are centralized cartridge, less flexibility, and the last one is decentralized and with more flexibility. And now I want to also explain just a little bit about the configuration of the needle. There is three main groups: single needle cartridges, round needle cartridges, and flat needle cartridges. If you have single needle, we cannot mark this cartridge like a round, because if you have one needle, of course, that is a round, not like flat and not like round. But we will mark all single needle like single needle cartridges. And there is also flat configuration, where when you have more than one or two needle, if they are in a first configuration, you can see three flat. This configuration we call flat configuration. But if they are in this configuration all together, not in flat, we call this configuration round configuration. There is also in flat one subgroup, the tip of the needle. If they are in same level, we call them simply flat. But if they are in this configuration, we call them flat curved. Also, if we have only one level of one row of the needle, we call them again flat. But if you have two rows in same of the needle in the same cartridges, we call them magnum. Magnum also can be curved. There is also different role for 3 round liner and 3 round shader. 3 round liner, they are much closer each other, and if they are created for the making shades, they are a little bit with bigger distance inside. Now let's try to explain how to read configuration. On the first number, there is a number of needles in the cartridge. 1, that means we have single needle cartridge. Second number, 18. This shows what diameter is of this single needle. That means diameter is 0.18. The third part shows us the taper. LT means long taper, and last letters explain needle position. If you can read X, or that means center position of the needle, that means that you have needle with more flexibility and more elasticity. Now, another example, you can guess now. The first is the number of the cartridge. We have 3 needle in our cartridge. Diameter is 0.30. It's medium taper. They are round shader. RS means round shader, and CE mark the position of the needle. This means that this is a very centralized needle in our cartridge. And one more example. Here you can see one more example. You can try to read alone without checking down what we wrote. Try to make it alone possible to read these numbers and the letters and understand which cartridge you have in the front of you. And today in our shop, we have 25 different needles. In 1 month, there will be more than 40 different needles. As I mentioned to you, it's very difficult to explain all different results which you will get with all different cartridges, because it's much easier to take all of them by one, which is possible, I will show you now, and do tests on latex and see what is the different and what is the different result with different configuration. We go a little bit more longer than I planned. I would like to remind you that next webinar about the pigments will be in the beginning of April. And why? Because we also prepare very new line of the pigments, specially created for machines. You will be able to have totally new shades for the lips and also for the brows. And now we can start with question. I will be very more than happy to answer on all your questions. Will I show the replay of this seminar? Yes, we will record this seminar and you will get the link and you will be able to watch again and again. Yes, we prepare new cartridges for microneedling, but those cartridges you will not be able to use with any of those 3 machines. Actually, we prepare new machine for microblading too. There is some question about the colors, but let's keep all question about the colors for next seminar when we speak about the colors. I wish the time was longer, me too. What is the difference between new and old machine? We take this machine, old PMU machine, which we already have in our shop, I think 5 years ago, and because we want to support PMU, and at this moment I want to be totally open with you. I don't understand very well PMU machines, and I really believe that there is a huge difference between PMU and tattoo machines. Today, my knowledge is totally different, and if you ask me to create a PMU machine, I will not create nothing different than a tattoo machine. And I'm really free to say that. Yes, those machines will be the part of PhiContour courses. But in the last 1 month, we explained that there is no PhiContour brand anymore, because we will create totally separate courses for eyelids, Phi-liner, for lips, Phi-lips, for eyebrows, we will have Phi-brows. That means that actually, if I give to you logo of PhiContour, that doesn't mean that you deserve this logo for all treatments, like eyelids, lips, and brows. Where, in which field you are good, for this field you will get the logo. But yes, you will be able, if you take some course, you will be able to choose different machine. What is the perfect speed? There is no perfect speed. Speed is perfect if you adapt your speed with your technique. The perfect speed for beginners is 25 Hertz. Absolutely. Yes, all those information you will get in new PMU Phi course. What about the blue machine? I explained blue machine is something totally different from everything what you saw on the market, and this machine will not be in a open sales. You will not be just able to buy and use, because to use this machine, you really need to have extra explanation and course how to use this machine. And this machine is really not for beginners. Can you do removal with the new machines? No, you can do extremely good removal. And also, for all of you who didn't get answer for question, after webinar, I will send all answer in this chat. And also, please, can you send all documents? Now you will get the documents about the machines. And let me just explain one very important thing. I told you that this is just the first of 4 webinars which we have planned to make. Second webinar will be about the pigments. And the third and fourth webinar will be webinars where we will create one group in a, what's the name of this application? I just started to use Telegram, yes. We'll create one support group in a webinar, and this group will last 1 year. And idea is to give support not only for theory, but for technique too, to explain what is perfect position of the needle, how to choose perfect pigment for for your client, how to hold your machine, because there is a different holding of machine for pen and for gun, and a lot of very good tips and tricks. And as I told you, 2024 really need to be year of support, year of good quality products and not too much expensive products. This is also one of strategy for 2024, and I'm really happy that I'm able to spend time with you, to give you all explanation and give you all possible support like never before since we create the Academy. Thank you so much. After this webinar, I'll take my time to answer on all your questions. Big kiss. Thank you so much.